Hey everybody, Doug Patterson here, and welcome to my Wednesday walk. And you might say, well, Doug, you're not walking, you're sitting in what appears to be a corner of your man cave downstairs in your house. And the answer is yes. And a couple of reasons for that. One, it's very, very cold outside, which is phenomenal here in the middle of May. And the other reason is I just didn't feel like going out for a walk today. So that's a misnomer, Wednesday walk. It's rare probably that I'm actually going to be walking while I do these, but we're going to let that title go as is. What I want to talk to you about today, and by the way, I do these Wednesday devotional things because when the church is actually open, we do a Wednesday service, and in lieu of that, because we can't be down there, I offer up these virtual offerings, and I hope you find them helpful. I want to talk to you today about vicarious living. Now, the word vicarious, if you're going to live vicariously, it means you're going to somehow believe that you are living through the actions, the vision, the work, the experiences of another person. Now, let me give you a good example of this. I like to live vicariously through my wife, Ramona, because she is a great, great gardener, landscape artist. She loves doing those things, and as a result, our yard, when it comes into bloom for the summer, is unbelievably beautiful. Now, I like to take a lot of credit for that. When we have visitors come to the house, I show them around, and they praise them, and of course I give her credit, but I beam because I'm proud of what she does, but I also like to take a little bit of the credit for that too. Sorry, babe. But anyhow, that's vicarious living, and she is getting ready right now, and actually she's already started to do all the work to make this summer in our yard come alive. And she has a mountain of what's that stuff called that you spread around? Mulch. She has a mountain of mulch out there in our yard right now, or in our driveway, which is actually bigger than my car. And she's going to do all the work for that. And again, I like to take credit, but she's going to do all the work. It's not my work, it's her work. If we want to take credit or live vicariously through somebody else, then we better understand what we're doing and be very conscious of it. Now, some of you know that I build guitars, and I'm getting better and better and better at it. But here's what I've learned about building guitars. For me, it's not vicarious. I don't live through the work of others. For me, I've crossed over into authentic guitar building, which means that I have been for a few years now building my own guitars from scratch. Now, I give credit to this kind of definition to Irvin Samogi. And Irvin, if I've mispronounced your name, I apologize. I've never met the man face to face. He is, certainly in my estimation and the estimation of luthiers around the world, one of the preeminent luthiers alive. His work is unbelievable. And he wrote a book a few years ago called, it's a 2-volume set, called The Responsive Guitar, and you can see how big and how thick that is. And its companion volume is called, those are so heavy, his companion volume is called Making the Responsive Guitar. Now, I have read these books a few times. For me, at the beginning, it was hard slogging because I didn't understand what was going on with a lot of it. And quite frankly, I still don't. But every time I refer to those books, every time I read them, I gain a little bit more knowledge, which transfers itself over very well to my own guitar building. Now, I appreciate, let me see if I can find it here. Where did I put that? Here it is. In his book, he makes this definition. He gives this definition of what a luthier is. Now, a lot of people claim to be luthiers, but in my thought process, they're really not, because they build from kits, or they just take something else that somebody else has done and maybe do a couple things to it and call themselves guitar builders. It's not. Here's what he has to say. He says, to be a bona fide luthier being a guitar builder or a maker of string instruments, to be a bona fide luthier, an individual has to actually make a complete instrument sequentially from start to finish by himself or herself, period. That's what a luthier is. Now, here are a couple of the guitars that I've made by myself, from design, from scratch, all the way through to finish. And here are a couple of Irvin's guitars, which I've never seen one of them live. Certainly have never touched one. They cost thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, rightfully so. But what's the difference between my work and his work? Well, one is experience, knowledge, doing it full-time as opposed to part-time like I do. But the difference, when you get right down to it, is both of them, if I build a guitar and he builds a guitar, both of them are authentic. They came from my hands. Now, what am I trying to say here? Well, what I'm trying to say is this, that there's a difference between vicarious faith and authentic faith. Living out your faith through somebody else's experience, or living it and doing the hard work for yourself. Now, this runs the full spectrum of our spiritual journey, but just let me center it on one thing: Bible reading. Now, people say, I can't read the Bible, it's too hard, it's too difficult, I don't understand it, I don't get it. Well, believe me, I get it. I don't get the Bible per se. I get what you're saying when you say, I don't get it. I get it, because it is indeed difficult slogging. But here's the thing, you see. I don't think you can really call yourself an authentic Christian, really, if you're not willing to do the hard work of reading that Bible for yourself. Getting in there and doing the hard work. It's not enough to read a couple of pithy little memes on Facebook. It's not enough to quote the preacher. Maybe you quote me from time to time from the pulpit. It's not enough to do that. It's not enough to say, well, you know what I always say. It's like my great-grandfather used to say, blah, blah, the Bible, blah, 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 blah. Well, you know, those are all good things in and of themselves, but they are no substitute. That's vicarious Bible reading. You have to read it yourself. I know it's hard work, but listen, these gardens around our house don't come about all by themselves. Ramona does all the hard work. The guitars, hand-built guitars, that great luthiers and part-time hobbyists, if you will, like myself, luthiers, we do the hard work of studying, of working, of refining skills, and bit by bit by bit by bit, we get better and better and better. And so it is with reading that Bible. You got to get in there. You got to start reading it. I know you'll be frustrated. I know you'll be angry. I know you'll want to give it up, and you will from time to time. But keep slogging. Keep plugging away. Keep working hard. And then you can begin to understand what authentic faith is all about.